Back on topic. What did you see?
Back on topic right now. I see a
We're on
little.
topic, aren't we?
No, I saw. I saw a little. Are we on topic? We're not on. We're not
Welcome
on it. Welcome.
to the Droids in Storage podcast with me, Ash.
And me, a cat in a box, or Alan, I guess.
Or Alan.
Yeah.
We can use our not made up names.
You know what? This crazy, wacky world that we live in. I feel like sometimes honesty, but mainly I'm a cat in a box. Okay, so
That's fine.
that's how I'm referred to.
And I'm Astromech. You can find me on places, mostly.
Most places.
Most places.
Yeah. You can find me on slightly less places, but still places.
I think we're on the same amount of places.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah, with varying degrees of
stream?
intensity.
A
Sure.
short form?
Short form.
Instagram?
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright.
Yeah.
Alright, fine. Basically, we do live streaming. Video games. This is going really well. We decided to make a podcast. Hello.
Let's do it again. Can we run that again, please?
No, we can't do it again. That's it. That's
Why?
That's what it is.
Okay, right. Well, can we just cut that together and make that as a constant intro?
Oh, you want to cut things?
No,
Okay.
no, that sounds like a lot of effort. And
Should we go with the original plan of talking about our Star Wars journeys?
yeah, let's do that. Let's do that.
Not saying that the whole podcast is going to be Star Wars based, obviously. We will talk about other things, other bits of nerd culture, movies, games, events,
Well,
I guess.
Yeah, events. Well, frankly, it's worth mentioning the whole idea of the podcast in the first place was started 6 years ago, ish, maybe longer, maybe slightly longer, 7 years ago. And the
Long
idea
time.
then was to talk about nerdy stuff, realistically, and that's what it boils down to.
Mm-hmm.
Brought a fantastic and broad topic to branch off with Star Wars, and hence and passion, and that's it. That's where it starts. So now we can both share our love of Star Wars, but beyond and more importantly is general nerd culture as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
That's where my head's at.
That's where the heads are at. Yeah.
So Star Wars as a journey, when it started, let's start.
When did your Star Wars journey? When did you what was your first kind of so this is Star Wars kind of thing happen?
So it's an interesting story. I hadn't watched the original trilogy for way too long. For way too long. So I would have been mid-teens when I was introduced to the original trilogy, and watched that through. And the passion didn't burn until, and this is a bit of a, I don't know if I've ever told you this more specifically, but it stemmed from the EA mobile game Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. And I know we've talked about this in the sense that I'm still playing it, but
I haven't.
You haven't played it?
No, maybe I should.
Frankly, no, please. For
Okay.
the love of everything, do not play it. It's but from my perspective, when I jumped in, it was at the height of Force Awakens, and that was a really good latch-on point to Star Wars as a whole. And when I started going down that road, I started learning about the smaller characters in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, and that then led to absorbing more of the culture and the other.
You wanted to know more.
Precisely.
Who's this? What's their story? Yeah.
I remember a good example of that was firstly unlocking Biggs in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, and I thought, obscure person, I don't know who this person is, and then learning about the relationship with Luke and the cutscenes from the original trilogy and the. Do you remember there was a bit of a friend, like buddy, almost like a teenager part of the first film that's been completely cut? Have you seen it? So Biggs and Luke scrapes off. They do their own little thing. It's
I don't think I've seen it.
unusual. It's only in deleted scenes, and it
I'm
obviously
assuming this is when he's off Tatooine. Is it when he's on?
I think it's
Where is
as
this
it
happening?
starts. So I think this is
Oh, like at the beginning.
yeah,
Okay.
and you know how the weight of Biggs and Luke's relationship is barely explained in the actual film, but there is a huge amount of lore in the background. Yeah, there it is in Tatooine. Um, worth looking into. Worth looking into.
Yeah,
As
you'll
far
have to
as,
send me some stuff.
but this is the thing, and it was learning about these really nuanced things about Star Wars that then led me to the rest of it. And now here I am, counting down the minutes until Obi-Wan Kenobi at the end of next month,
Uh-huh.
and it's become an integral part of who I am and what I look forward to. How about
Absolutely.
you?
Me. So I was aware. So pre Phantom Menace, I was aware Star Wars was a thing, but I had seen bits and pieces of it, like when it was on TV at like Christmas or something, I guess. And I was like, I kind of just watched it. It was on TV at my grandparents' house one Christmas, and I kind of just sat and watched it. I guess we missed. I think we missed the beginning, and it just kind of. I just saw. I think it was A New Hope. It must have been, and then that was kind of my first viewing of it, I suppose. And then I just didn't think about it ever again. And then, and then, and then all the ramp up to Phantom Menace happened, and my uncle took me and my cousin to go see Phantom Menace, and that was like my first kind of like full viewing of a Star Wars film, and I was just like, oh, okay, okay, that was something I need to get more of. Um, so what? When was that? What year was that? That was 1999, I think.
Um, I think you're right. I think 99.
I think 99.
I if it's
So
if it's 2000s,
I would have been
99. You
10.
are right. Mm.
Yeah, I would have been like 10. So that at that point, that's like, oh, the movie's out, all this, and then all this merch is available as well. So I had loads of like the toys and stuff. I had a bunch of the Micro Machines bits and pieces, lots of pod racing things. I was very into the pod racing. Um,
Correctly.
and I didn't hate Jar Jar because I was a child.
And I I think it's because I was older when I put myself to Phantom Menace that the humor it grated. It grated how I took it, and
Cringe.
yeah. Whereas it's a different. This is a an interesting thing to swing it back to, but in How I Met Your Mother, if you're aware of it, Barney has
I'm
a
aware.
theory. Yeah, so there's a theory of if you ask someone whether you think Ewoks are cute or terrifying, is a good bridge of understanding whether they viewed it as a child or they viewed it as an adult. Because as a
Hmm.
child, an Ewok was a cute and cuddly thing. As an adult, watching it back, it's a terrifying murder bear, and
Yeah.
you can you can tell a lot. And I think maybe Jar Jar had a similar thing. Um,
Yeah, he is
I
pretty terrifying. It's pretty terrifying.
crazy man. It's a crazy man.
Yeah.
Um, I yeah, personally, I think
Yeah, Ewoks are pretty scary. Have you played the Ewok hunt on Battlefront 2?
on Battlefront 2, yes,
Terrifying.
yes, 100%. It's a horror game. It's
Yeah,
actually a horror game, and it had no right going that far. It doesn't. Is it manned anymore? Does it? Can you still play that?
I think
Or
so.
wow, okay,
I'm
that's
pretty sure. I don't see why not.
yeah, that would be
Because I
incredible
know
to
the
watch.
game I know the game had an issue with the servers for a bit.
Hmm.
And then the modding community kind of took over. But I think it all got sorted out, and I think it came back.
Well, that's the natural story of Star Wars Battlefront 2 as a whole, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
against all odds, it's back and it's still going and it's still strong and it's a true tale of where people actually have a passion and a love for something, they're still going to make it. They're still going to go back to it, and
Hmm.
when that passion runs out, the thing dies. But Battlefront 2 is a perfect example of where things can actually work really, really well when given the legs to do it.
Yeah, such a good, such a good game. Like I just,
Mm.
it's such a shame that it got sort of cut a little bit too early. 'Cause, we like characters that were planned. I think were Ahsoka and like
Mm.
Ventress and all that kind of stuff. Um, just EA
Especially,
things,
yeah,
I
EA things and
suppose.
publishers as a whole, seeing what they've tilted the talent towards and what that is nothing short from very frustrating. Um, at the
Mm,
height of Battlefront 2 to swing it back.
yeah, but
Um,
we do have Fallen
towards
Order now.
sure, yeah, Fallen
With
Order respawn is.
with Fallen Respawn is just amazing.
Mhm,
Respawn is great. And then obviously we're hoping for Fallen Order 2 to be shown at Celebration, which I
mhm.
can't wait for, which is not too far away right now.
I just clocked the date as
It's
well.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's super close. Really
yeah,
excited. I'm looking forward
and
to finding out more about like other shows,
mm,
things like the Acolyte, stuff like that.
mhm.
Just new stuff.
New.
New.
I'm curious on because there's so much that we already know about that's to come, and I'm curious. There was a story. There was a story about um, wow, this is dreadful. Director for Mandalorian, help me, please.
Favreau.
Thank you. I was in Filoni, and I don't know where I was
You
going
were
with
in
that.
Filoni.
I was in Filoni. Don't even ask me how. But Favreau was allegedly greenlit towards an
It
actual mainline film,
makes
and
sense.
sure, the savior and the passion of that man, it makes sense to have a full length film.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, he directed Iron Man, right? Way
mhm,
back, way back in the day.
yeah,
I don't know which Marvel films he's directed since. Did he do all the Iron Men? The Iron Men.
no, I I
I can't
guess the
remember.
plural of Iron Man. I guess that
But
makes
he
sense.
obviously knows how to direct. So,
Yeah.
you know. My thing is, and we were talking about this earlier today before we started
Mm.
recording, was TV is just not is TV safer
Well, yeah, interesting,
as a
interesting.
from a studio point of view nowadays?
Historically, it must have been. Historically, if you if a TV
It's
series
cheaper,
doesn't do, yeah, significantly so, but
but is it?
perhaps not so much now.
Hmm.
With the quality. That being said, with the huge amount of upfront cost of something like Mandalorian and
Oh, massive.
the technology that they've created around doing the LED screens and the sets and the design that they've done,
The
um,
volume.
yeah,
Yeah.
but that has now meant that they can use similar technology in a much more rapid sense. So perhaps moving forward, it's going to be a safer thing. We're going to see more risks come from Star Wars. Um, back when Star Wars is brilliant, which
Yeah.
is that that style.
Because if that turnaround is, because I feel like they just finish wrapping on Mando season 3?
Ooh,
I
I
think
missed.
that's what I think I saw something about it. Um,
Okay,
and I feel like that hasn't even been filming for that long, which
no.
is crazy. So I
Well,
think their turnaround is so quick now, which is awesome because obviously with TV they have so many episodes to put out.
uh-huh.
Um, then a movie can take longer to make, but it's shorter than a TV show.
To
It's weird, isn't
consume.
it?
Hmm. But less buy-in from an audience member. So to actually ask an audience member to buy a ticket and go to do something, where now they can
Mm.
stream it instantly. Instantly, maybe not the right word to use because they're bringing
I
back the
think they
weekly
still. I think
releases.
yeah. I think they still want the Oh, from a TV standpoint, the
Mm.
weekly stuff. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, in answer, is it safer? I think it is again. I think there was a spell of time if Mandalorian hadn't have worked in the way that it did, and the amount of imagination and success it had, if it flopped on that, then maybe we would be having a different conversation, and would not be seeing.
Yeah, I wonder
this.
if they would actually be focusing because Obi-Wan was going to be a movie. That was the original plan, and then I don't know the timeline of when they changed that. I don't know if it was because of Mandalorian being so well received, and I don't know if maybe Ahsoka was going to be a movie as well. I'm not sure. And they must have thought, obviously, because there's huge investment in Disney Plus anyway, so it just makes sense to make shows, and you get so much for us. It just gives us so much more content, more narrative, more story. It's not rushed,
and the quality's there, and you've got.
Yeah, you still got the quality. I can't think of any times in Mandalorian where the quality has been compromised, as far as I can think of.
Were you as nervous as I was at the beginning of Book of Boba Fett? When was released.
Not sure about nervous.
So I was.
I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah, I was fully absorbed in every single episode, but there was a lot of complaints of this isn't really Boba Fett in the sense that we're expected and what we're used to. And I think that's valid. I think that is valid for the first couple of episodes. But
I thought we were going to have more tie-in stuff.
Yeah.
It was very well, obviously we had Mandalorian tie-in.
Did we?
In a big way. In a quite a big way.
Yeah.
But I thought we were going to have stuff to do with. I think we just go hard with. It's been long enough, isn't it, for spoilers and such. If anyone's listening to a Star Wars podcast, I think they can.
You safely assume that we'll talk about Star Wars.
I thought we were going to have tie-ins with Bad Batch and Omega.
Yeah,
because we had Fennec, who's right there, and she knows. I mean, obviously, from her perspective, it was a long time ago, I suppose. Or was it? How long ago would it have been?
Right?
And Cad Bane's there as well. Yeah, so it's like, and both those characters know something. But obviously, we as an audience haven't seen that, whatever that is, and maybe that's why it's just not mentioned. But it's weird to bring Fennec in without mentioning it.
Yeah, I was curious on. I think this is the mark of something that is so wonderful, and we've seen it in Marvel for a long time. Is they can choose when to tie these things back in, and they've got such a plethora of stories that they can just pick and choose. That's already existed that is now legends, and they can now take from any of that and make something wonderful, which they've been seeing great success with Marvel, and still so.
As long as the timing's right, it has to make sense. Because if there's, I see a lot of posts recently about Eternals and how there's a massive head and a part of a hand sticking out of an ocean now.
Yeah.
And in retrospect, I think it is. The Earth is probably bigger than I think what a lot of people give it credit for. So I think it's like it's relatively. It's not scaling the whole Atlantic Ocean, is it? You know what I mean? I don't even know where it came. I can't remember where it surfaced.
I don't even. Is it even talked to? Oh no, it is directly talked about, isn't it? Because. Oh, Fast Girl. Jesus, I know none
Oh yeah,
of
she
her
looks
names.
for it. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a whole scene for that.
I can't remember. But yeah, tying that we're very off topic right now.
Which is something that you should expect having this. If
I think the timing. There's certain things that will happen, and you can't ignore them.
Yep.
Because it wouldn't make logical sense. And for me, like personally, I think the Fennec Omega clones Boba Fett. I think it's just a weird thing that was avoided.
But to the same point of the Rancor, right? So that was such a natural. Its name in the Bad Batch, it had a Mobu.
Oh, the little baby Rancor.
That
Is that in Bad Batch?
Yeah, that's in Bad
Oh my god,
Batch.
when I think about it, that was for me in my head. That's Clone Wars,
It is effectively,
I
isn't it?
suppose. Yeah.
Yeah. But I thought that was an absolute slam dunk to tie that in with Bad Batch and do it that way. And I don't think it ever is explicitly explained that way.
Is it the
Um,
same?
I don't think I don't know. I don't know. I'd be corrected, and I'd happily be corrected, but I don't think it's ever mentioned
Does
that
the
it's the
Rancor in
same one.
Boba have a name?
Mm, I don't know. I don't know. We should have asked.
Where was it?
We
I
should
can't
have
even. Yeah, I can't even remember where. Because they delivered it right to.
to the Fett. No, the hut. Baby hut.
Where were they?
Yeah. But it's interesting because from
Hmm.
you mentioned timing. You mentioned timing for making sure that things tie in correct. I think us as a Star Wars community, and I think as a nerd community as a whole, we're significantly less forgiving about those sort of mistakes.
Hmm.
Because perhaps the lore in general was such a mess before Disney took over. Everything was forgiven
I don't
because
know if the legend stuff was ever fully lore. I think it's
sure,
always I don't well or canon. I don't think it ever was,
mm,
but a lot of little like the old school Star Wars fans they consider that their canon,
yeah,
even though it wasn't as such.
no,
It was like it was George Lucas essentially going like, yeah, here's a free ticket to go create some cool stuff in this galaxy, and I think he was heavily consulted. I think, which is interesting. But it's cool to see that they're picking stuff from Legends and sprinkling it around. It's really
why
cool.
wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you?
Exactly.
You've
It's
got
just it's there, isn't it?
exactly, and it's the same way with Marvel that they can pick random comics and random lines
Mm.
and absolutely make a whole season about it. It's which is such a wonderful time to be a Star Wars fan because
It's
who
crazy.
knows who knows where it's
Wild.
going? Who knows?
I watched
And with
um I watched Rise of Skywalker again last week. Um
mm,
which I think was only my second time seeing it,
mm,
which is weird for me from a Star Wars perspective, I suppose.
yeah,
Because I probably should have watched that 4 times, maybe more by now. But
yeah,
yeah, the second time since it came out. And previously, I've been reading the Vader comics, and they're starting to work backwards from those sequel movies into the comics and add and kind of explaining little bits and pieces, things like Exegol. And I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil comics. But
mm,
like Exegol is where Palpatine is on his unknown region, spooky planet. Um, I don't know how much I want to say.
mm. Is it with comics? I'm outside of the comic world, so comics in general is something that I've only slowly gotten into recently. Star Wars comics, more specifically, I've almost never been a part of.
Hmm.
So, in the same sense that I thoroughly needed to experience Clone Wars, maybe I do need to go in and just explore it. 'Cause how long's the
As
Marvel run of comics now? We're talking years, aren't we?
Marvel,
For Star Wars,
oh, for Star Wars, yeah. Well, I think it's been going. So Disney, it all runs through Marvel, obviously.
of course.
Um, yeah, I guess it all kicked off when Force Awakens came out, or just as it was about to,
Uh-huh.
or I guess shortly after the acquisition. So a long time. So there's a lot to catch up on, I suppose. But it's also very easily accessible with Marvel Unlimited,
Mm.
um, which we're not sponsored by.
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Um, how do
But
you?
as a as a soft sell to get whoever's listening and to you to read the comics. Um, so Ochi, the character that's talked about in Rise of Skywalker, who they go to his ship on the planet and get the dagger and stuff.
Yeah.
He's in the comics with Vader,
Right.
so you see him alive and doing whatever they're doing.
Doing his thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And that's
That's
as much as I'll
that's
say.
that is that. Yeah, that's
And like I
piqued my
said,
interest.
there's stuff with Exegol as well, so you learn
Yeah.
more about that.
How do you? Because it was almost like parts of the film was kept intentionally vague in order to allow
I don't know if it was
these.
intentional.
Good point.
Because again, it's
Intentional and
like what we're talking
otherwise.
about. It's a movie. They have to condense it
Yeah.
so much, and you have these random plot armor coincidence things that happen, and you just have to accept it.
But it's got to a point. I'm
Some
always
people can't
skeptical.
accept it.
Yeah, this is it. Do you remember? Do you remember in the Force Awakens where C-3PO had a red arm
Yes.
and everyone lost their mind?
Why?
Because it was never explained. It was never explained. This would be an interesting one. Do you remember how it was explained?
I can't remember because we did get a reason, right?
Yeah, we
I
got a
can't remember what it.
reason.
I can't remember what it is.
It's in the Lego Force Awakens Star Wars game as a DLC, and I think it was a pre-order bonus.
So that's kind of canon.
Yeah, and so Lego Star Wars was a part of it, and I thought that was. I can see how people were nervous about the way that they were doing that because that's segmenting lore and trying to milk it dry. Frankly, in the subscription-based world that we live in, I'm all for it now. I'm all for it.
You know what else was canon?
Go.
So before Rise of Skywalker came out,
Uh-huh.
the Fortnite had a thing.
Okay.
So Fortnite had the Star Wars event, and did I stream it? I can't remember. It'll be on YouTube. Like you can go watch it back. And in the opening crawl of Rise of Skywalker, it talks about the message that Palpatine puts out across the
Yeah.
galaxy about being back. That announcement is in Fortnite. That's where you hear it.
Oh no! Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's.
And it's voiced by. I'm fairly confident it's voiced by Ian McDermott and everything. So that's like, and that's the only place you can see it. It's not in a show, a movie.
That's nuts, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is nuts.
The event was really cool though, as well.
Yeah. Well, in this more general discussion on nerd as a whole, I think both of us are very unapologetically very outspoken on how good Fortnite is at those events and what it is.
They're so good. Then Epic know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
And it's there. Obviously, it comes down to it being their own engine and everything, so they know everything about it.
Yep.
And they can do crazy stuff. And I don't want to. I don't want to go on like a trying to sell Fortnite kind of talk, but like,
Sure.
it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's a ridiculously fun game with friends. And
It's,
where else can I be a Sith trooper? Well, I suppose Battlefront. I suppose I can in Battlefront too, but yeah,
yeah, but
stuff
you
like that.
can't-
It's just fun.
You can't then shoot Guff and involved as well, which for the wonderful people that are watching this, you might see move around the background every so often, but that's a little secret between me and you, okay?
For our video watchers,
For our video
not our
watchers.
audio listeners.
No, you're missing out on something there. You're missing out on something.
How many audio listeners do you think are listening right now?
Oh, upwards of 50,000, I'd say. Yeah, I'd say. Give or take.
That sounds about accurate.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Give or take.
Give or
Two.
take 49,998. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, give or take. I assume we're both going to listen back to this. So
Yes.
So there we are.
Do people listen to their own podcasts?
I
Apart from
would.
when they're editing?
Yeah, well, just to understand what's going out
Hmm. It's
as a
like when
self-reflection tool.
you watch your own streams sometimes, right?
Less so recently.
Yeah, I'm less so
And
recently as well.
what I'll do is I'll skim through and make sure that it's consistent.
Hmm. I
And
normally go on the hunt for clips
oh, that's important as well.
that I can
Um,
post on TikTok.
TikTok
TikTok.
and YouTube Shorts and
That as well. Yep.
Instagram Reels. Allegedly, I've heard other people
I
use.
I think I've only had one thing blow up on Reels, and I can't even
Mm,
remember what it was. And since then, I've posted a few things, and it's just nothing.
mm. I found the same for YouTube Shorts as well. To be fair, but that's my lack of knowledge for the algorithm and how it is, and
Shorts is
learning
tricky.
how it works properly. Yeah, because it's less. Everything that I try and do is personality driven, and that doesn't work as an algorithm often. Um, but it means that I'm consistent to what I do. So there is that as well.
Oui.
Um, so Star Wars, we've talked about the journey. We've talked about where it is. We talked about where we see it going. Um, we haven't talked about video games as much as I was expecting. How do you feel about EA giving up the reins to Star Wars as a whole and what that's going to do?
I don't feel strongly. Which I don't really feel strongly either way, to be honest.
Mm,
Because I think like obviously EA is only really a publisher.
mm.
Do they own they own Respawn, right?
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
guess they must have. I guess they must give it to Respawn, whereas they could have given it to someone else. I
yeah.
guess.
Respawn was a risk as well. It's worth
Hmm.
mentioning. Um, they had no experience with third person Star Wars games.
Adventure game.
Not at all. There
Yeah.
was a bunch of Call of Duty developers that have gone to create Titanfall and then made a Star Wars game, which was
Hmm. I've heard
unapologetic.
very good things about Timefall 2 story.
Yeah, it's worth it.
I never finished it. But
It's
no,
worth
I
it.
think yeah, I think there's no reason for it to stay with one publisher and
Mm.
or one studio. Doesn't make any sense.
So
The Star Wars world is too big. I
that's
want 5 Star Wars games a year, please,
yeah. I think that's where we're leaning.
in different genres.
Well, the Star Wars video game heyday that created Star Wars Bounty Hunter
Oh my god,
and
yeah.
yeah,
N1 Starfighter,
yeah,
that was my
and
jam.
like anyone making it, it was constant. There was a lot more misses, mind.
Mm.
Um, so it'd be interesting. But I think as a whole, game development has come a long way. The reason I bring up how do you feel about EA relinquishing direct control is that originally when EA took it, I was sort of heartbroken and then
Oh.
really excited when they did Battlefront 1 and
Hmm.
then really disappointed. And when EA took over, cancellations of games like 1313, which may well have been repurposed for Fallen Order to a degree. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, you can
but
have you seen those I don't know if they were leaked or if they were just I don't know if they just put them out. Like the
mm,
animation testing and stuff
with a
where this
certain
guy's
character,
like parkouring around a city chasing someone.
did you see who it was meant to be as well? Have you seen that?
Was it meant to be a Mandalorian?
It was meant to be Boba Fett.
Was
It
it?
was meant to be it was meant to be Boba Fett in the actual. There's one very small clip um, that explains that. I think it is unseen gameplay. We're talking earlier this year that this got announced or released or leaked or
Hmm.
whatever.
Yeah, I saw a
Um,
bunch of. It almost looked like they were running around Coruscant or something.
mhm. um, and cancellations of those sort of games, it cut me. And then when Battlefront 2 came out, you're thinking, and that was the only game that EA had made for Star Wars was
Hmm.
that. You just think they're wasting the license,
Yeah,
and
so
they
much
needed,
opportunity.
yeah.
I did like Did you play Squadrons?
I did. I did. I thought it
Hmm.
was excellent. I thought it
Good
was really
story.
good.
Nice
Yeah,
tie-in
really
as
good story.
well with
hmm
Hera.
Also, worth mentioning, have you potentially re-downloaded it now that you've got your joystick or your flight?
Yes. The trouble is the game is dead,
Yeah,
so I can play through the campaign again,
sure.
um, but I don't feel the need to
Hmm.
really. Like with me playing, like I get enough space combat in Star Citizen and whatever else.
It's cool that when you're doing that, if you're anything like me, Star Wars has got such a drive and such a pull that I still pretend I'm in Star Wars when I'm in space combat in almost anything. Like
Yeah.
this feels Star Wars.
Mm.
Um,
Touching on Star Citizen quickly,
mm,
they so there's a new system. So at the moment they have one system like around a sun,
okay.
and they're releasing another one. I think it's hopefully this year called Pyro, and the aesthetic is very Star Wars
Ooh.
in this
Okay.
in this system. I'll show you a video later on. Very cool.
I'm excited to see.
Mm.
Star Citizen as a whole is such an exciting prospect,
Oh, it's
um,
crazy.
and if if it ever releases 1.0, I don't know.
Never,
Probably not.
probably
Probably
not.
not.
And that's coming
But
from
then,
me as a someone who loves it and plays it a
mhm,
lot. I just well, I'm not, I mean I'm not going to say never, but I'm not going to say that it will never be in. It'll always be in development. I think,
yeah.
especially
Um,
because the technology they're using is just gonna. It'll become outdated at some point, probably.
there were
Um,
similar conversations with Minecraft 1.0 as well, was there not? And then that happened. It came out
I suppose so.
as a full.
I feel like that's less ambitious
Weirdly, yeah,
in
yeah,
a
I
strange
agree.
way. I was going to say something about. Oh yeah, so Ubisoft
Mhm.
has taken up a Star Wars project, and they've dished it
Right.
out to Massive, who made the Division. So
Ooh,
I'm hype as hell
ooh, okay,
because I love the Division. So if they
yeah.
make, so I've always wanted like I've always wanted a Star Wars game that's like a looter shooter, like Destiny or Division or something like that. I don't know how it would work, and I think that's kind of what got me into playing the Old Republic, the MMO,
hmm
because that was kind of like, well, this is the closest thing I have right now to that dream.
What if I told you, and I only know this because I just looked up. What if I told you that Ubisoft has created a Star Wars game before?
Have they?
Yeah.
What is it?
Um, it's it's for the Game Boy Advance, and it's Star Wars trilogy, Apprentice of the Force.
Wow. Which Game
It's a
Boy?
thing. The Game Boy Advance.
Right.
Yeah,
I never owned a Game Boy Advance.
I did. I
I had
went through all of
my
those.
I had my Game Boy Color, and then all my friends got advances, and I got left behind, and then I don't- everything's a blur after that, and now we're here today. So
That was it. That was Game Boy. Other people
Game
got
Boy
Advance.
Color
Now,
with Pokemon Yellow and Pokemon Pinball, and now we're here today.
oh, don't blink again. Don't blink again. You'll see
I'll
yourself.
try.
um, but okay, so from our perspective as an introduction to what this is and what this is going to be, um, what else is worth
The
mentioning?
podcast.
Yeah, the
Oh, I
podcast.
guess yeah, yeah. We've done a whole we've covered a lot of subjects already,
We
which is kind
have
of nice.
from well moving forward. I think from an expectation is that this is the sort of thing to expect is two guys that love Star Wars and will talk about things, get distracted.
Yeah, basically.
Is
I
what we
will
do.
I will try out. So I guess a lot of podcasts have like a lead or like a plan of talking points. I suppose
Yeah,
I'm gonna try and do that.
yeah.
for next time, and we don't know how long. Do we know? Are we committing to a
Yeah, let's.
weekly?
So I think weekly makes sense, and from our perspective, um,
I guess
the
see how we
Star
go.
Wars. Yeah, for the next couple of weeks, this is a pretty good time to start, um, because we'll have Star Wars Day soon,
Mm,
and
that's
that'll be
so
quite
soon.
exciting. A couple of weeks time,
Yeah.
and I'm sure we'll be able to talk about that. I kind of feel like, yeah, in general, this is a very good time to start. What was the What was the other Old Republic game that's coming out? There was another
Oh,
one.
Knights. They're doing the
Mm,
remake of Knights of the Old Republic. Who's
not.
who's doing that actually? Is it BioWare? Are they the ones redoing it?
I hope so.
It would make sense to, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
As far as I'm
Or,
aware,
or,
I think it's gonna. I think they're making it canon as well.
well, they've started dripping it in. No, they haven't. No, I'm making that up. I'm thinking of
You thinking of
certain ships that are featured in.
ships?
Yeah, I'm thinking when they made Rebels part of the Star Wars canon in as a whole in the cinematic world as well. Remember
Mm,
that, and when Ghost turned up and the Phantom turned up, that sort of thing. But again, I'm off on a tangent. Excuse me.
that's fine. Yeah, because they were in Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah,
Chopper was in Rogue One.
Chopper was in Rogue One.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And I
Um,
think they call out for Hera on the on the com thing on the loudspeaker.
do you feel like that was them dipping their toe into a more connected universe in less? That was,
I think so. Did
yeah.
that come out? When did that come out? Was that after Rise of Skywalker? Or was it like an in between thing?
What, Rogue One?
Yeah.
Rogue One, I think it was before the Last Jedi. I think. Shall we
Have a little
check
Google.
ourselves? So Rogue One 2016, um, Last Jedi 2017. I shouldn't doubt myself. I shouldn't doubt myself. You know. But yeah. Incidentally,
But yes, yes, to your question.
yeah. to the question,
Yeah.
yeah. Was it them dipping their toe
I mean, that's
into?
the only real time they could, I suppose,
Mhm.
because the sequels are so disconnected. Well, not disconnected, but like they're their own little pocket currently, aside
Between
from
individual films? Yeah.
comics things. Um, but I think we're leaning towards. I think Mandalorian's starting to dip its toes into that kind of stuff,
Hmm.
especially when it comes to cloning with Grogu and Dr. Pershing and stuff. Like Dr. Pershing literally had the Kaminoan thing on his arm, the symbol.
Yeah. That's
I
pretty
think it was
cool.
yeah. Yes, yes. I'm going to say yes. And if someone wants to correct me, they can.
They can find a way to correct us.
Yep.
Shout at us. Only on Twitter. I'm a very non-confrontational person, and I
I'm
take
very
criticism really poorly.
my knowledge of Star Wars is very like I know what I know, and I also know what I don't know. Does that make
Sure,
sense?
100%. No, I think we're much the same in that respect.
I'm
And
terrible with names.
ah,
Good lord.
I'm terrible with my.
And that's in real
If
life. Let alone
yeah,
let alone weird Star Wars names.
I I I think if you're what listening or watching to a Star Wars podcast, there's an argument to be said that we might need you to correct us quite frequently. Um,
Yeah, I'd
you
welcome
might,
it. Education.
yeah,
All good.
yeah.
Just don't be
Um,
don't be silly about it.
don't be silly.
Don't be
Never be
silly
silly.
about it.
No, don't never be silly.
Have a conversation. We also should mention that we do have a Discord. We do
Certainly.
have. I mean, if you're watching this right now, you're on the YouTube already, so that's nice. We have a Twitter, but that's kind of just there because
We were told to make it, right?
someone told us.
Who told us that? So I said, smarter people than
Wasn't me.
us.
This is finished.
The remnants. Um,
Remnants.
well, it was. Yeah. Well, we'll see. And actually, as far as news, and we're obviously keeping a very close eye on what's going to happen in the Star Wars world.
Hmm.
And I think the Twitter is probably a good place to go to see when we understand what that's going to be. Um,
To be fair, I
you'll
think
you'll see
Twitter is
some
where I
good.
get all my news from now. Just from scrolling through, whether it's real world or Star Wars stuff.
Yeah.
That's just where it is.
A scaringly high amount of my news come from TikTok as well now. But I think that's a
All
me
right.
problem.
I'll
I'm
probably
working
use
on
the
it.
Twitter more for just posting that we have a new episode out. I
Yeah,
suppose.
good point.
I'm not
Good
gonna.
point.
I don't think we want to flood it with all kinds of stuff that we just post on our personals anyway.
Yeah, good point. I like where your head's at.
And then for the Discord, just pop in and go crazy. There's still some work I need to do on the Discord to make it more us rather than me.
Hmm.
That's fine.
But
That's
if you
in
jump in at
hand.
this stage, you're gonna be at the ground level of some pretty exciting stuff that's gonna be coming over the next couple of couple of forevers.
Couple of forevers in the Star Wars world.
Yeah.
We're here forever. That's it.
Star Wars Eclipse was the game I was thinking of.
Controversial things.
Because you're not particularly excited about it.
I just don't know if I. Well, I mean, I'm excited about it because of Star Wars, but also I don't know what's. I know it got delayed by 1,000 years or something.
Yeah,
Whether
we're
that's
thinking.
because of uh, confusion in development or because of the controversial stuff.
Who knows?
No one. I don't think we know. At least I haven't
I don't
looked up.
think so.
We didn't know when it was announced. I don't know if we know
No.
now.
I I think the only thing that we know for sure is that we're not going to see it in the next 4 years. So it
Hmm.
might not be something that's worth talking about for a while. I was excited by the idea of it, but we'll see where it goes.
It's interesting.
This
It's
is
a
a thing.
new thing.
And again, the perfect example of without EA having free reign on whatever they want to make, we're going to see risks and we're going to see some weird stuff. And not all of it's going to work. I think all of it's going to push Star Wars in the way that we want it to be,
Hmm.
in my mind at
I
least.
welcome the risk
Yeah, I think that's
for sure.
the eternal optimist, perhaps in me, or maybe in us. But to be a Star Wars fan is to be hopeful, isn't it? That's
All Star Wars is good Star Wars.
yeah, I agree thoroughly. I agree thoroughly.
I think there's
Um,
certain bits. There's bits for every one. Does that make sense? You
yeah,
might not like you. People may not like parts of it, but then other people like those parts. I think my biggest thing recently is like the seeing all the hate that's still going on for the sequels. Just kind of
constant.
it's just too much. I think people need to realize that there was this much hate for the prequels, and
Hmm.
now we're older, and now we've taken Star Wars for our own.
No, we've taken yeah.
And then the kids that are growing up with the sequels in the future, then they'll be in a great spot.
I think it's exhausting to be so angry.
Oh my god, I know. Just go watch something else.
Yeah.
Just go invest into something else, or only be positive about the bits of Star Wars you like. Like,
mhm.
go shout about that and how great that that is, because it still exists. It's not like it's gone.
Yeah. It's still precisely, precisely.
I
And
think they're mad that they might not like anything in the future, I suppose. So it's like I'm not going to get any new content because Disney.
okay, yeah. Perhaps for someone that grew up on the original trilogy, and if that's an integral part of who they am, I understand the
Hmm.
uh
I think for some people that's their personality, isn't it? They're like,
mm,
I hate this thing. and everyone's going to know about it.
Hmm.
And then they lose all the good stuff.
But
It's,
you've already said it. It's such a broad
yeah.
piece of media. If you find something, if you can't find something that has come out in the last 5 years that you like about Star Wars, then perhaps Star Wars is not your thing anymore.
Yeah.
It's
I'm like that with Doctor Who. Doctor
sure.
Who was such a huge thing.
Mm.
And then recently it's like, oh, this is a bit not great anymore. So I don't really talk about it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't go on about how it is now.
I imagine if you want a Doctor Who fix, you go back to the place where you enjoy Doctor Who.
Yeah, I'll go for
And
a rewatch.
exactly, and there's nothing stopping that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's something that perhaps is worth taking on board if you are particularly angry about those sequels. If anything else, they look pretty.
They are very pretty.
They're gorgeous.
I was going to say the people that are angry probably won't listen to us.
No.
They're going to carry on.
Yeah.
They're going to carry on regardless.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine if
But we can try.
imagine if we fixed it by saying it right now. Imagine.
They all just turned around and were like, wait, actually, yeah, you're right. Okay.
Yeah, and
then we never saw any hate for parts of Star Wars ever again.
Well, I think maybe we've solved it. I think we've solved all of it. I'm not. I've got the ego to say, yeah, I think we may have solved all of conflict.
All of conflict across all fandoms.
Yeah, just find something you like, and
just find something you like, and if you stop liking it, go find something else.
Find something else.
Take up knitting. If you don't like that, try Space Sims.
Space Sims. So the order is find something else, knit, and then Space Sims.
Yep. And if that's all done, just spend time with your family.
It's Star Wars. Star Wars first. Star Wars.
No, but this is the extreme. If you've gone past all of that, yeah. Or you wait for the new Star Wars thing,
or make it,
and don't hate it before it comes out. Because I see that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That's terrifying.
Mm-hmm. And I think in general, it's because it's popular, it's easy to hate on. I think that's in general, that's the way that it works now, isn't it?
To finish off,
sure.
The Grand Inquisitor.
The Grand Inquisitor. Oh, the Grand Inquisitor. I know this is something that's.
I guess you're not too.
Because I'm not there yet.
You're not there yet.
I'm not there yet.
So It's kind of like.
From my perspective, yeah, it's. I can see, because I know he exists. I know of him, and personally, I thought it felt a bit weird. It looked a bit wrong, the way that it is. I think that's probably one of the first, maybe not a miss, but like certainly close to a miss that they've
like one of the first times you've gone like, oh,
yeah, in the whole of. I'm talking more specifically of bringing it to the live action space.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of people have similar immediate reactions to Cad Bane.
Oh, I love Cad. I thought it was brilliant.
I thought it was perfect. I thought it was. I loved it.
And his like eyes come up.
Yeah,
it's this big red.
He's a
forbidden sweets. Amazing.
Forbidden sweets. I love it.
Cad Bane's eyes are forbidden sweets.
Yeah,
and you can't tell me otherwise.
Everyone's eyes are really. Oh dear, that's a different thing. But the Grand Inquisitor as a whole, yeah, I think I haven't absorbed that of Star Wars so much that it did impact me one way or the other. It just happened. But what's your take? I know you've got a different opinion.
So for me, someone who's watched Rebels and loved it, laughed, cried, everything, broke down, went to therapy. I thought it wasn't awful, but it could have just been better. Like,
Uh-huh.
I'm not saying it should have looked like the oh my god, I can't remember the race, but like they're in episode
No.
3, right? In
Yeah.
the it's gone.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not saying they would have had to look like that, but I'm saying it definitely could have been better because he does just look like a potato.
Just a little bit like a potato.
At
Little bit
least
like a
you know
potato.
Cad Bane didn't look like a potato.
No.
This guy does.
Yeah. Do you reckon it's the same people that are making these stylistic, artistic choices? Are the same people responsible, or is that coming to a different person? I often don't look at that actually.
I'm not sure.
Wonder.
We could do a whole podcast on that subject about differences between the animated and live action, even differences between animated to animated.
Yeah.
I don't know. It depends on how much you've seen of Rebels, but like,
I'm early. I'm early on.
yeah,
Early enough.
I'm trying to think where you'd be if you've seen
I,
characters that are in. No, I don't think you would have.
well, my promise to you is that next time we have this conversation, I will be further forward.
Okay.
That's my promise to you.
Don't promise to me. Promise to them.
I promise to everyone. I promise to everyone. Yeah, promise, Jesse.
You heard
Jesse's
it here
the cat.
first.
Yeah, you
Alan
did.
will have finished Rebels by next week.
Oh wow! Okay, right. Well, okay. I quit my job and just do that. That seems okay actually.
Well, like you said, Star Wars is first.
Star Wars comes first. Please, please.
Anyway,
yeah.
Should we close it out
Let's close it out. Well, let's talk. What's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? Yeah. So the game plan for this podcast is to be consistent. I think that's what I need in order to keep doing it, and I think that's the plan. So how about as a continuous conversation, it will be a weekly push forward, and we'll have things to talk about. Perhaps next time it'll be a little bit more structured, and you'll get to learn about our favourite Star Wars films.
Ooh,
how about that?
I like that. Yeah, that's gonna be tough, but I like the idea of it.
It's easy for me.
Okay.
Yeah, but we'll talk about that.
Oh, a cliffhanger for next time.
Yeah, how about that?
Wow. All right. As for a day, it is currently Sunday, which means that tomorrow is the one that comes after Sunday.
Tuesday. Monday.
It's
Monday. I failed day class.
I will. If you're listening to this on a Monday, we made it. It worked. If you're listening to it after a Monday, it might have still worked.
Yeah, and maybe expect the next episode on that same day the following week.
Yeah, so we'll aim for Mondays, and if it's any different, we'll post about it in somewhere. We'll be transparent with transparency.
Very transparent.
Here at Droids and Storage, we are
transparent.
Transparent.
Oh well, that was a bit opaque,
double transparent.
Actually. Double transparent.
There we go. All right. Well, we'll see you next time.
It's been a pleasure.
Take it easy.
Bye.
Bye.